Does an avoidant miss you when you are silent? This is a really good question that can be very confusing to understand because at first it's going to seem like this avoidant is great. It's going to seem like they're unaffected by you going silent, and in fact, they're thriving in this, right? And that can be so disheartening and confusing and frustrating to you because you would expect that this person would have some type of emotional reaction in a negative way because you're going through all of these emotional roller coasters of feelings while they're the one that seems like they're on this lavish vacation and they've had this breakthrough thing happen for them. But we have to understand when it comes to an avoidant, this is their way to distract themselves from what is really going on because they don't want to deal with that, right? So they have a very good system that's in place that causes them to kind of push all of those emotions down and to do all of these different things to distract themselves to make it seem that way. But when you are silent for a very long time, they are going to start to get uncomfortable because this goes against everything that they would expect and have experienced up until this point. Because whenever the avoidant pulled away from you, you were the one who was reaching out to them, trying to see if there was any way that you guys can work things out. And this was due to the simple fact that you genuinely wanted to be in the relationship and was trying to do everything that you could to resolve this. But they didn't take it that way. They took it as evidence that they could continue to be this way and you would be emotionally available to them in some way or some form, and you would be the one to reach out to them to try to make it work. But you are breaking this pattern by being silent, and they don't know how to address this because this is uncharted water for them. So they start to become curious as to what is going on and start to get uncomfortable because they don't know how to address this, because there's a part of them that's recognizing that you could very much be moving on, but on the other side, they don't want to reach out and admit that to you and try to do everything on their end to work on this because that's going to cause them to feel vulnerable, and they're not going to know how you're going to respond to this, which could lead to you rejecting them, which is something that they don't want to feel entirely. So because of that, they start to have this internal dialogue and conflict that starts to ruminate within them. And then what that typically leads to is their emotion starts to seep through because they no longer have this strong fortress and dam, if you would, that would keep those emotions down, right? It's breaking, it's cracking, and those emotions are coming up. And no matter what they try to do, they're not able to suppress those down. So they start to become concerned, which starts to lead them to really missing you because they're like, wait, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this person to leave me and move on, because even though it may not seem like it, deep down, there's a part of them that does love you and does want this relationship to be successful. But this avoidant attachment style is so strong within them that it takes over, and it doesn't allow that a part of them to do the things that is necessary to work on this avoidant attachment style so that they can show up in the relationship the way that you know they can. So with that defense mechanism starting to crumble, they're more and more going to start to miss you, and they're going to start to realize the magnitude of letting someone like you go because they genuinely do want you in their life. But even though this happens, their avoidant attachment style is very good at piecing things back together and getting this defense mechanism back online, and it essentially stops them from reaching out to you and expressing that. And that's why typically after a long period of time, you're still not getting any type of reach out from this person to express that desire to want to work things out. Or if you do, it ends up being them just breadcrumbing you to try to see if they can reel you back in and kind of get you on the hook of you being available for them. And then the moment that they feel comfortable, they'll essentially pull away because they haven't dealt with this avoidant attachment style. And this is a very challenging thing that they're going to go through, right? And I'm not making an excuse for them. You can have some empathy for someone going through this because, again, this derives from their early childhood when their caregivers did not meet their emotional needs. So they had to adopt this way of being so that they can kind of cope with that. And this has gone on for a very long time. So it's very much prevalent in themselves, and they need to reach out and get professional help from a therapist to kind of unwind this and work through this so that they can heal from it. I know this is probably a long-winded way to kind of answer this question, but all in all, this was a long-winded way to say, yes, this avoidant is going to miss you, but it tends to show up a lot later when they're finally not able to suppress those emotions down. And it tends to be why you see a lot of people saying how their avoidant randomly reached out to them way after their breakup, and it caused them to be so confused because it's almost as if you just recently broke up. But at the end of the day, this is one of the big reasons why it is so important for you to prioritize yourself and figuring out what is best for you. I know that there's a part of you that may still want to try to make the relationship work, but you really need to ask yourself, do you want to continue to play this game? Because chances are, even if this avoidant does end up telling you that they miss you and that they're ready to make those changes, they could very much be just trying to reel you back in. And when they feel comfortable enough and they feel like you're going to be there for them and you get a little bit too close, they'll end up pulling away, starting the cycle over and over again. You already know the answer to this, but it is so important for you to listen to yourself and to continue to take those actions in the direction that you know that you want to go, rather than what your emotions is telling you the way that you should be going. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.